I'm alive. So, just checking everything was working fine on the phone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Level Up Your live streams. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. The joys of going live is almost anything can and sometimes does happen. And I think I've yet to have a completely stress-free live stream to date. Tonight or this afternoon may be the one. So if you can hear me okay, just let me know in the comment section that my sound is coming through nice and clear. And let me know where you're watching from as well. It'd be quite interesting to know where people are joining us from. I see Natasha Stanley is here already. Fantastic. Jellybean says, good afternoon. I can see Jellybean is over on YouTube. Fantastic. And Natasha wins the first comment award as always. So today's live stream is about live streaming and about really kind of leveling up what people are doing. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube all enable you to go live now from anywhere. If you have a mobile phone, you can pretty much go live anywhere and everywhere, which is amazing. And to really push that message out there, there is no better format at the moment than going live. We're watching from a small fishing village in the UK. Yes, I believe you are. So I'm going to play a little graphic screen because I always like to play these. It gives people a chance to jump on board, get their questions ready. Then after that, we'll get right into it. There we go. So yes, first, who am I? If you're watching on Catch Up, my name is Grant Saunders. I am a performance hypnotist, a stage hypnotist, and before the world of COVID happened, I was traveling around the world performing stage hypnosis shows. Since COVID happened, I had to pivot and change my business, and I kind of went online and started live streaming. So this small workshop is about the tips and tricks that I've learned over the last 18 months or so about what has worked for me in creating a good quality, what I believe a broadcast quality live stream. Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, there's a lot of entertainers, especially going live from their living rooms. And one thing that I noticed from that is the quality of the audio, the quality of the production. It kind of looked amateur. And going live gives you, it's more forgiving. When you record video, edit it, and put it online, there's an element of me that has to make sure it's perfect to go out there. And if it's not perfect, I don't want to upload it. When you go live, anything can and does happen, and the format is very forgiving of that. I've done live streams where the internet has been cut off, where Facebook has deleted it from copyright. All sorts of different things happen. But there's nothing stopping your production, your live streams, for whatever it is that you're putting out there, whether it be entertainment, whether it be therapy, whatever your business is, pushing your brand, your product live is a fantastic way of really reaching a new audience. So we're going to go through a few pointers of things that I've discovered throughout this process. And why live? Well, if you upload a video to Facebook or to YouTube, a certain audience will see that. When you go live, the algorithms of those platforms really pushes that out to a bigger audience. So if you have 1,000 followers on your page, more of those followers are actually going to see your content. They get notified when you go live, and it gives them a chance to really engage with you. Secondly, people like to engage with people. And going live and giving them the option to interact with you, such as the questions and the comment section and interacting with your viewers, again, really does push that engagement out. So more of your followers get to see your content and more of their contacts get to see your content. So it's one of the best ways after face-to-face of really communicating your brand. So one of the things I really discovered about going live is a lot of it is about preparation. We've all got the ability to go live. If you've got a smartphone, there is no excuse to not go live. But go live with a purpose. if you're going to be going live, just to kind of go, hi, this is me on your mobile phone. Hi, this is me. I'm outside such and such a venue. This is this. Really have a reason for engaging with that audience, to either give them some information or give them some value, or to kind of ask them questions and find out what they're looking for. So when you go live, plan it out as much as you can, but don't be too structured. I'm not a script writer. I have a guideline of places where I'm going to go. And then hopefully the engagement from the audience that's watching will also have some influence over where that goes. But again, I like to stay within the structure of that, because otherwise it just becomes someone waffling and it becomes a one-way street of communication. Speaking of which, during this live, if you have any questions or if you want particular advice on a particular subject, then please do not hesitate to throw it into the comment section and I will endeavor to answer straight away. It's always interesting to see the different levels that people are at with live streaming. I'll let you know, when I started this 18 months ago, I started with my computer screen, with the built-in webcam and the built-in microphone, and it was disgraceful. When I look at the quality of those first few lives, that's one of the things that encouraged me to keep pushing forward. And I suppose this comes from from working on stages, where lighting and sound has such an importance when it comes to delivering a message. So when it comes to delivering your business message, you know, it is about looking the best that you can, sounding the best that you can. Because, and we'll get onto sound in a bit, but people will put up with a low quality resolution video. People won't put up with low quality sound. So that was one of the first things I learned to really upgrade my sound system. And over the year, I've gone from the inbuilt stuff of my camera in my phone and on my laptop, and as I've gone along, I've increased the equipment that I use and the quality that's gone along with that. So you should be going live with your business, and at the moment you're probably going live and just using the tools that you've got. That's fine. We're going to quickly go through a few of the different things, such as setting, position, the cameras, lighting, sound, the software that I use as well, which is really important, that has helped me kind of run a one-man show, engaging with the audience, growing your audience and repurposing your content. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Setting. Where you are going live from makes a massive difference. You want your background to be fairly free from distractions, but if you can make it interesting, that always is going to help drawing people in. Because what you want is people scrolling through their news feed or scrolling through YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever they're watching your live feed. When they're scrolling and they see that, they want to be drawn in. The last thing they want to see is bleached out white with a bleached out white background, or busy bookshelves and lots of stuff going on in the background. I used to go live from my desk with a plain magnolia wall behind me, and it just looked dull, and was dull. So one of the first things I changed is I got myself a couple of LED lights. I got them from Amazon. I'll put up a link later on to these. These lights cost me, I think it was about £26. And literally they were just RGB coloured lights. And that's what you can see behind me here. And we'll touch more on lighting later on. And that just really kind of made that dull white background a little bit more interesting. Then since then, I upgraded the pop-up banners that I have. So I showcase my business as a performance hypnotist at various wedding shows and have lots of banners that I use for my show. They became my background when I was doing live streams then. Again, adding the lights, that really makes a difference. So when people look at that video in their timeline, it looks interesting, and it piques their curiosity to invest in the time to watch a little bit more. So make sure your background's free of too many distractions. One of the most important things is make sure you are the brightest thing on the screen. As you'll see here, you know, I have this background, you know, I think it was 12, maybe £18 off Amazon. This is literally It is a vinyl backdrop that is stuck to the wall with some Gorilla Grips. But it just sets a difference. It's not too busy. And with those lights on it, it helps me separate from the background and hopefully pop on your screen. I should also be coming live to you in 1080p as well. The software that I use enables me to do that. Not all softwares do that. Generally, when people are streaming on Facebook, it will be at 720p. But again, I'm wanting the quality in order to try and help people want to engage more with my posts. So the setting, some people sit down behind a desk. My personal belief is I like to stand when I'm doing these because it gets me at the right level for the camera, but it also keeps my energy flowing a little bit. If I'm sat behind a desk, I'm a little bit more slumped. I can't breathe as naturally, and I tend to find it just looks a little bit more restricted for the audience. If I was doing a tech review or anything like that, so yeah, very interesting. Yeah, the magic has gone now. I thought that was a real brick wall. It's amazing because we only have to showcase within these parameters. If I showed you around this room now, it is a tip. But this area here is all about the broadcast. So yes, me too. I thought that was live from his dungeon. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what some people do, because if they're going live from their office or their bedroom or their spare bedroom or anything like that, a lot of people do green screens like in Zoom and have like a fake background. I mean, even though this is a fake background, I think sometimes the green screen stuff, if it's not done right, can look quite cheap. And no disrespect to anybody that's doing this, but sometimes I see coaches where they've clearly got a green screen background of some fantastical mansion or a yacht that clearly is a green screen and isn't their spare room that they're coming live from. So sometimes I think actually if you just dress a room with some nice plants, maybe some books or something that just highlights what you do or complements what you do, but is not a distraction from what you do. In one of my live streams that I do, I have an old Circus Freak Show banner in the background, which is an old piece of driftwood that's been made into that sign. It's lovely. But yeah, but you can have some real fun creating that background and making it look nice. The lack of focus on the wall looks well against yourself, which means you're more prominent. Exactly. And that's due to depth of field. Now, I know Zoom does a blurred background effect. And different cameras that you use do that. The current camera that I'm using, because of the camera I'm using, it does have that. The lens on it enables me to have that real depth of field. But that's getting too technical. We'll get onto that in cameras in a bit. But yes, I think sometimes when you have a shallow depth of field, it gives the impression of quality on a live stream as well. So yeah, so you set in, make sure you're free from distractions. And when you're going live, make sure that anyone that's in your household knows that you're going live. You don't want the children or the dogs running around upstairs. You don't want them going on Netflix or using the internet at the same time. I have really, really good internet here. However, I still always have a little adapter on my MacBook and I plug in an Ethernet cable so that the quality of the internet is always there. Sometimes on Wi-Fi, the signal can fluctuate and go up and down, and you'll see that in the quality of the signal, and it becomes pixelated and everything. And especially if you are streaming high definition, to have the Ethernet cable plugged in keeps that strength of signal and it keeps it consistent, so your audience isn't waiting for you. Because people's attention span is so short now. If you don't grab them and keep them, there is 1,000,001 cat videos or TikTok videos that they would sooner watch rather than you waffling on. So you've got to grab their attention and keep that there. Whilst I've got your attention as well, if you are watching on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. So yeah, so have fun with your setting and your background. You can add different things. I now find myself kind of looking, online for different things that are quite quirky. I have, one second. I have myself like an old phrenology head, which has absolutely nothing to do with what I do. but it's interesting. And then again, this would be slightly blurred in the background just to create curiosity, because when they're scrolling through, you want them to kind of look and be interested. When you watch stuff on television, you'll see that there's a lot of effort goes into the background so that the subject that's going on screen pops. So yes, that's on settings. And like I said, that background, 12 to 18 pounds off Amazon. You can pop that up anywhere you want. If you're in your spare bedroom and it's a box room and it's tiny, you can still pop that up on the wall and nobody knows any different. And it just raises the quality just a little bit. And that's what we're looking to do today. If we can raise levels of quality in different areas of that live stream and keep consistently doing that, you end up with what is hopefully a professional looking live stream, which will set you aside from your competition, which is the most important thing. It also enables you to deliver your message consistently. So next thing after background is position. A lot of people, when they go live from a laptop. And when this happens, they tend to be really up and the laptop's on a coffee table in front of them and it's pointing up their nose. So you get to see the double chins, you get to see what's going on up the nose and everything else. Lighting wise, this is very unflattering. There's lots of shadows involved, and it just for me it looks terrible. You're either looking right down on the person that's watching, and it gives them a sense of unease because they look like they're being looked down upon. The other time, sometimes that I see people do is they raise their camera really up. Hi Grant, if I go live on my Mac, the sound is out of sync. I've tried using an Ethernet cable, but it makes no difference. You're out of sync on this, I guess. So you're using a Mac. Yes, yes, Macs are terrible for that. So yeah, if you raise your camera up higher, then you tend to be looking up to the camera, and this puts you in a submissive position. And again, it doesn't do quite right. It does do slightly better on if you've got bags under your eyes. But the best position to be in is straight on looking at the camera, as if you were looking at the person. And that's what you've got to do. And it's quite awkward to do it sometimes because it's easy to watch yourself on screen, but it makes sense to look directly into the lens of the camera as if that is the eyes of the audience that you are talking to. When I first started live streaming, I had two googly eyes that I put either side of the camera on my MacBook to remind me to look at the eyes rather than myself at the screen. Now, sometimes you'll see me look away during this, but that's because I'm monitoring the comment section and I'm bringing up the stuff that's on screen as well. Now, again, if you're stood there, it enables you to move around a bit and just have your energy flowing freely so you can talk to the audience and they kind of don't feel that you're slumped behind a desk. Jason Morgan is here. Hello. So yeah, position, keep your eyes constant with your audience, just as if you were talking to them and having a conversation one-to-one. Now, here's the thing as well. What do you do if you go live and nobody's watching? Well, then you just keep talking. You talk as if the people are there, because audiences will watch this when they want to watch it. So unless you're in a Zoom meeting, the audience isn't necessarily always there. If you are broadcasting live on YouTube or Facebook promoting your brand, then you just continue on as if you were talking to a friend and explaining about what you do. The audience will come an hour later, 2 hours later, the next day, 6 months. It does not matter. So carry on regardless. Don't worry if there's nobody there. There's nothing worse sometimes when a live stream starts, when you're going, right, we're just waiting for some people to jump on. We'll just give it a couple of more minutes. We're waiting for some people to jump on. If I've invested my time to be there on time to watch the live stream, then I expect the live stream to kind of start there, not having to wait for other people. So I always try and go live just before I'm due to go live to give it a couple of minutes. I have some stuff to play and a countdown. This just gives a buffer time for those notifications to go out to everybody. And people will get notified and they will catch up and watch later. So always, always, always talk to your audience. If there's no audience there, just talk to the camera as if it's your best friend and you're explaining what you do. The audience will naturally come. the people watching don't want to feel awkward about your live stream. So don't make it awkward for them. Cameras. There is lots of different camera options out there. The most powerful one that we have is the iPhone or Android. If you have a smartphone, odds are this has a very good quality camera built into it. Exactly right, David Banfield. He says, on radio, we're always reminded to talk to just one person. Exactly. And imagine that if you're talking to that person and you know that person wants to listen to what you have to say. This person is tuned in, they're invested in their time and their energy. They want to listen to you. They're not against you. Yeah, top tip, start talking as soon as you go live. Exactly. If I join a live and I'm being told I've now got to wait for other people, I don't have the patience for that. And the great way to test the sound is to just keep doing it. So yeah, if nobody turns up, carry on regardless. And like say, talk, like David says, talk to that one person as if they're a friend, and the audience will come. On that, what happens if something goes wrong? I'll chuck this in now. It will. It's live, so anything can and does happen. I've had people walk in the studio sometimes when I'm going live. I've pulled out my internet cable. I've knocked my microphone off. I've knocked my camera off. Just about anything that can happen live has happened. It was lovely over on Facebook. Come on YouTube instead. I was lonely over on Facebook. Oh, yes. We'll talk about the different platforms to go live as well. Yeah, so if something goes wrong, carry on regardless. It is live. I always say to people, there's always technical issues. If something goes wrong, bear with me. We will sort it out. Facebook at the moment, when it comes to live streams, is very sensitive. So if you're a therapist and you're wanting to play background music whilst you do a demonstration or something like that, then there's a very good chance that Facebook will disconnect your live. Facebook is very, very strict on anything that it thinks is a copyright claim. Now that goes also to music that you own the rights to. I use certain music in certain things that I do that I have bought the rights to use those commercially. Facebook doesn't know I have the license. It just recognizes it as licensable music and then cuts the feed. And again, certain topics and words can trigger Facebook to cut that as well. With the software that I use, I always go live to a couple of platforms as well, which is today we're going live on Facebook and we're also going live over on YouTube. YouTube tends to be more forgiving when it comes to those types of things, but Facebook is very, very strict on that. So be cautious if you are playing music. A great resource for music for therapists is if you go onto YouTube, in the studio section there is an audio library of license-free music that you can use that, touch wood, doesn't have any issues. So yeah, so if something goes wrong, don't panic. Just stop, recalculate what you're doing, figure out what the issue was, and then just go straight back live again and then just address it. Sorry about that, guys. This happened, and then carry on. There's no point worrying or panicking or stressing because it's live. Cameras. Most laptops, most computers, most phones have an inbuilt camera now. Most of those are good enough. Let me just show you a slight difference. I'm now going to go live from the camera that is built in on my MacBook here. Oh, dear me. Look at that. Look at the, see what I mean about being at the wrong angle with the lighting behind me as well. That's really important as well. If you are going to go live near a window, make sure there's no light sources behind you. You want the light in front of you so that it lights you up. If it's behind you, it becomes a distraction. As you can see in this, as a great example, your eyes are drawn to big white squares there. So yeah, this is the inbuilt camera. Now this is okay, but however, I do like to go back to this one. Now look at the difference. Now, if I'd have just gone live from that in the beginning, you'd be exactly, you wouldn't notice the difference. And this is where your audience is emotionally. They might not consciously know why it's different, but once you increase the depth, the colors are more vibrant, you're more vivid, then your audience feels more. So yeah, the camera I'm using at the moment as well, I went from the inbuilt camera that was on my computer. I then upgraded that to a Logitech Stream Cam, which is a great camera. From then I went to a Canon Legraya, I think it's called, which is a proper HD video camera. And then the quality is so much better with a proper camera. Yeah, it really is. And then after the video camera, I actually use a mirrorless digital SLR. Now, I do not say you need to invest in this. The difference in quality between the webcam and this mirrorless camera is mainly due to tiny personal preferences that I have, which was mentioned earlier about the slightly blurred background. That comes because I can change different lenses on this camera. But yeah, the difference between the inbuilt cameras and the webcam is dramatic. And then it just becomes slightly smaller changes after that. You can get a really good webcam, which is a Logitech C920, I believe it is, which is a HD camera. They're quite old now, but the quality of them is absolutely phenomenal. And just by investing that little bit, you will really transform how your lives are received as well. Yeah, so there's cameras. I'll put up a link as well in the comment section to the different materials, the different cameras, the different equipment I use, and then it's up to you. I do not recommend running out and spending loads of money on loads of equipment to start with. Start where you are, go live first, and then just tweak little bits until you find your look. Lighting. Lighting makes such a difference. And again, it's the subtleties that people don't notice. The good thing is most of us live in houses with windows, and there is generally natural daylight that comes through those windows depending on when you go live. Using natural light is a Jelly Bean C920 is great. We have a few of these as backup to our photography business for videos. Great for streaming quality. Absolutely. Really bomb-proof and not expensive at all at the moment. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to upgrade one thing, getting the Logitech C920 is a great option. If you go on eBay, there's quite a few of them on there. One thing that did happen with the coronavirus is the price of webcams went through the roof when this happened. As we're coming out of COVID, more people will be going back to in-person events, but I do believe live streaming is still going to be a major part of the world now, just because I can get that information when I'm sat at Costa Coffee watching it on my phone, on my headphones. So yes, lighting. At the moment, what you're seeing is I have a LED RGB light down here, which is giving this purplish light down there. I have another one with a slightly different tone over here, which is giving me this light up here. I have a ring light over there, and I have a backlight over there. Let me just show you. There's a big light there. The other light's there. Now, the reason for this is because I'm trying to create a contrast between me and the background. I'm trying to give depth. I'm trying to make it look richer. And so all you'll see is you'll probably see a bit of light here. This light here is coming from that light I've got at the back there, which is, if you imagine looking straight forward at maybe 10:30 is where one light is, which is giving me this light here. And at 4:30 is the other light. So kind of like a 45-degree angle through me is where those lights are. And the reason why I do that, a very good photography friend of mine, John Steele, who loves his lights, explained to me that you don't want and a lot of people are doing this at the moment, they get a big ring light, they have it right in front of them, and it lights up all the face, which is great. However, it doesn't look natural. With this, you'll still see shadows, highlights, high tones, low tones, again, adding depth to the actual stream that's going on. So yeah, so for me, the lighting is over there and over there. And plus I have a light just above, behind 10:30 as in the angle. If that's 12 o'clock, that's 11 o'clock, that's 10:30. 45-degree angle. So yeah, and that adds depth to me. I don't look like I'm photoshopped onto the screen. It kind of makes it look more natural, which adds that level of production to it as well. You can add, and it depends what you're wanting to do, you can add colors to these highlights as well. Just play around with it. The one thing I've learned is if you want the light to be softer, move it further away if you can't adjust that light in. If you want it to be harsher, bring it closer to you. Those two lights that create that at the back, I have them really far away to get that good spread of light. And again, that just adds a slight difference between me and the background and adds an interesting highlight. I wouldn't recommend light coming from up here because, again, it highlights shadows that aren't very flattering, and lighting is really going to make the difference in how you actually physically look on camera. Some cameras, you can adjust how the light is received in the camera, and this can make a big difference. And again, with a video camera or a web camera, you're very limited on those options. With this camera, if I wanted to, I can increase that to make it brighter. And this is the thing I see a lot of people where they have like a ring light, they seem to be all bleached out. You don't want that. You want to really bring it down and make it natural. Oh, a bit darker than that for me. There we go. So that's kind of lighting and the difference that can make to your live stream. Let's have a look at sound. Sound is probably the most important thing for going live. If the quality of your sound is off, and when you're live streaming, sometimes you do get a lag. So you can look like an old Chinese Kung Fu movie. But that's because you are a victim of the internet speeds, the lag and everything else, because the signals are sent as video and audio. You definitely look more natural than what people presume. One big light at the front. Definitely look more natural than what people presume. One big light. Yes. And again, it's about the audience feeling engaged with you, not feeling like, this is this big illuminated object on screen. It's about them having a conversation with them, and them feeling that they can have a conversation with you as well. So sound, one of the most important things is sound. We all have inbuilt microphones in our computers and our phones. These tend to be really poor quality. They're not the best. However, with most phones, you tend to get headphones. These have a microphone built in. I would highly recommend using these. If you're going to go live, use the microphone in your headphones. It really makes a difference. Moving on from that is I have a Rode USB microphone. I have various different microphones, but as a performer, I had a bit of a thing for microphones anyway. So you can spend as much or as little as you want on sound. For me, if you get a simple USB microphone, spend as much as you're comfortable with, and it will last you forever. Any kind of USB microphone is better than no microphone. Just using the inbuilt stuff is always going to give you a lack of quality. And if you can deliver quality sound, a lot of people will watch your live stream in headphones anyway, and they might just be listening whilst they're doing something else, their housework, or listening to somebody else. They'll have your stuff on. So the quality of sound makes a massive difference. And this also pays dividends for later on. And we'll touch on that on kind of creating or repurposing your content. So I use a USB microphone. I have various different microphones that have cost lots of money. I have microphones that have cost very little money. This particular Rode microphone that I use now was not expensive and was a great investment. So I would highly recommend get yourself any type of microphone, but failing that, use the headphones one that comes with your phone, and this will make a massive difference straight away. And if you then decide to use your live streams and record them into maybe podcasts, having that good quality audio just makes that nice and simple. Software. There's lots of different software out there you can use. I mean, literally, there's loads of different ones out there. I use one. I'll bring up a, let me just bring you up a thing for the software that I use. I use a company called BeLive. Oh, wrong one. I use a software called BeLive. BeLive it's a very intuitive piece of software. It enables me to kind of really, in fact, you know what, let me bring you up a screen share so you can see exactly what I'm seeing as we're doing this live stream right now. So let's have a look at this. Window, BeLive Studio 2, share. This is going to get a bit weird now, but that's because you're going to see like a matrix of me. So there you go. So what you've got on the right side of the screen there is the software that I can see. So as I'm going live and I'm talking to you now, I can see all the comments on this side here, on the right hand side of the screen. I can also see, if you look closer, you can see a little red square next to them. I can see whether they're commenting on Facebook or YouTube, so I can see where the audience is and talk accordingly. At the bottom here are my resources. So you saw earlier when I played a little video clip, I can have the videos loaded up at the bottom. So if you really want to up your production, you can go live, but by using the software, it enables you to have those screens at the beginning where like weird stuff happens and it gives you a proper professional introduction. That's by using software like this. We've also got like little splash screens, and you'll see here as well is my agenda. So when I'm talking about software, I just click on software and then it appears on screen like that. BeLive is very intuitive, very simple. If I want to bring guests on, I just send them a link. They then appear in this bottom section down here, and then I can just bring them up on screen and we can have a conversation with them if you want to go live talking with other people. So the BeLive software is really intuitive and really simple. I'll just hide that now, and then you can get me again. So that really works. If you're interested in BeLive software, there is a link that should automatically now appear in the comment section. Now, again, when we talk about the software, what this software BeLive enables me to do and enables you to do as well, if I've got a product or service I am wanting to sell, I can preload that into the software. And when I bring it up on screen now, like what you're seeing, it then brings up the link to that in the comment section. So as I've kind of put this on about BeLive, I've brought up that link in the comment section. So if you want to click that link, that will take you to the BeLive software and give you a 14-day free trial of that. I do believe they also have a free version of that. I'm not selling this software. I'm just letting you know what I use. There is other softwares out there that do different things, and they're all brilliant. But this just separates you from from just going live on Facebook. So you can then add different elements like this. So if you're promoting a coaching program, you can talk about the different programs that you've got. You can then scroll through the products like there, and it brings up a link in the comment section. So you can do all this by yourself. You don't need to have a team of people around you. You don't need to have someone in the comment section that's automatically sending the links out. This is all done by yourself. And it makes it smoother and more professional for the people watching. So yes, so that's that. On another note as well, I can literally just then go through to this one, which brings up a logo for me. If you'd like to be kept up to date of anything that I'm doing, then also in the comment section now you'll find a link that sends you to my sign up form for my email list. So there we go, it's just popped up now, email list. So if you want to be added onto that email list, just click that link after the live. That will take you straight there. You can sign up and you're kept up to date of any shows that I'm doing, any trainings that I'm doing, any of these live streams that I'm doing. And that's as simple as that. And I put this in as a demonstration to show you guys how using software to go live really does help kind of drive your brand forward. It gives you more tools than if you're just using Creator Studio in Facebook or just using OBS. And it makes it so it's simple and intuitive, just a click of a button. So yeah, but by all means, please do sign up to the mailing list. I created this one just for this live stream. So let's get rid of that. So yeah, the Be Live software, great community of people on the software. It enables you to have transitions, screen shares, bring guests on board, and to have these little bits of graphics that come up here like this as well. And you can do all this whilst you're live, so it really does help. And they also have a mobile version of that as well, so you can do all this on your mobile phone. So we've got the lighting, the sound, the software, the background, all that lot's in place, and now it's time to go live. Simple as that. Presenting tips. We heard one of the best ones earlier, and that's just pretend you're talking to one person. And imagine that person is a friendly person that's the other side of that camera that wants to hear your message. If you do that, then the audience will eventually come. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you go live and you look at the audience and you're kind of like, you know, there's not that many people here. It doesn't matter. You're creating content that will go out there that will generate an audience for you. You're raising your profile as an authority in your industry, in your niche. That will generate leads for you. And it will generate leads for you when you are asleep. If you've got this content on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok or any of those things, that is constantly advertising your services day in, day out. And get a branded mug. So, yeah. Presenting tips. For me, stand. Plant your feet, stand, talk to the camera. Have some energy about yourself. Nobody wants to sit and listen to a long, drawn-out, boring lecture. Have a bit of energy, inject some energy into that as well, because you want the audience to feel energized watching what you're doing. I'm not a natural trainer. I've had to start doing these things because of COVID, but I love performing, and that helps me when it comes to presenting. This becomes my stage. You're in your environment, you've controlled the lighting, the sound, everything. Control your hand movements, be animated, but not too distracting. I kind of found some nice hand gestures help really drive a point home. If you start going all crazy up here, it's distracting, but something here can be quite natural. Again, I find trying to make yourself fill as much of the screen as possible without it being too much or without it being too far away. This, if you are demonstrating something bigger, this is okay. But for me, if you're having an intimate conversation with the audience, really bring yourself right in like that. It does really deliver that message. Prepare as well. I have a structure of which, again, using this software, I have my agenda on the right-hand side. I have the software there. I know my next point is on presenting tips. I know my next point is on engaging with the audience. So have an agenda, have an idea where you're going to go with it. Throw questions out to the audience, see what they want, but really kind of stay structured. I have to have that guideline. Otherwise, I end up talking about my cat, end up talking about some silly stuff I did last week. I can waffle on for England. So by having that structure, it enables to keep you focused and on point, because you know, people are time poor in this day and age. And if they're investing their time watching and engaging with you, then you've got to try and do what you can to really make the most of that. So prepare, have some structure, have some energy, and just go live. Be yourself. Don't put on a fake American accent. Don't go all like kind of try and be funny if you're not funny. Just be you, but you with a bit more energy and a bit more oomph, and that will do really well. I hope you guys are getting value from this as well. If there's anything in particular you want, then please feel free to kind of throw that out into the comment section. You know, there might be a Q&A at the end, but we can keep going and answer questions as we go along as well. And let me know where you guys are from, as in what industry you're from. I know we've got some people from the wedding industry here. We've got some hypnotists here. We had a guy from the radio on earlier. Let me know where you're from and what industry you're in as well. And speaking of which, engaging with the audience. I know I'm running on a little bit now, but that's okay. And like I just said, these people have invested their time to watch you, even those that aren't watching on the live, those that are watching the content later on, they've invested their time to watch you. And if you talk to them like they are a friend, they're going to feel involved. They're going to feel like it's a conversation between me and you. So really do engage with the audience. And once this live has finished, I will make a point of going back into the comment section on both YouTube and Facebook and replying to those comments as well. Because even though I've probably answered them whilst we're doing the live feed, it's good practice to go into the comment section and really answer that question again for them. For other people that are watching later on and are skipping through, they get to see the comments and get to see that you've responded and really answered that question as well. Because this is about building relationships, engaging with your audience. And again, growing your audience. Talk to them, answer those questions. If they've asked for any particular resources as well, send links to those. It's about putting in the effort and building that audience. And by doing so, that's only going to help grow your audience. And that's why we do this. This is marketing 101. We want to be going live to generate new leads, new interest, new customers, new clients, new networks. One of the great ways of doing this is to buddy up with somebody else that may be in a complementary industry. So let's say you're a hypnotherapist and you're starting to go live and do some stuff as well, but you know someone who is let's just say an energy healer, someone that does Reiki, someone that does massage, someone that does something else. That's a great time to maybe talk to them, invite them on your show, on your live stream, and exchange information. This does two things. It adds real value to the people that are investing in your time, real value. And it also it grows your audience because you have your following plus their following. So they get to learn about you and you get to learn about their audience as well. So it's always good to do that, to kind of raise that and reach new markets as well. So find someone in a complementary industry and really kind of sit down with them and ask them about their business. You know, since the lockdowns happened, I run a live stream once a week talking to other stage hypnotists around the world. And it's so nice to hear their stories about how they became the successes that they are. And, you know, anybody watching this, I reach out to you. If you want me to appear on your show, I'll happily do that. And likewise, if you're interested in coming on mine, then just drop me an email. We will make that happen. It's about growing your network, and that will really, really grow your audience, and just keep delivering value. This is not about you and look at me and how amazing I am, even though you will look amazing if you follow these tips. It's about delivering value to your audience. And if you do that, then that audience will reward you. And finally, repurposing your content. Content is absolute king in this day and age. You know, people are on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. There is hundreds and hundreds of different platforms, LinkedIn, hundreds of different platforms that people can be on. Twitter, weirdly, is not what it was. I find a lot of my leads tend not to come from Twitter now, but Twitter I find is a great platform. If you want to complain about a big business or corporation, Twitter is brilliant for it. So, repurposing your content. Once this live has finished, because of the software that I use in BeLive, I can go into my dashboard. I can then download this content to my hard drive. If I want to edit that, I can edit it. I can then upload that onto YouTube. Because I'm going live on Facebook and YouTube, it will automatically be on YouTube anyway, so I don't need to do that. However, what I can do, once I've downloaded that information, I can break this up into sections. So I could create from this 1 hour video, I could create one small video on each of these topics, one on presenting tips, one on engaging with the audience, one on lighting, one on sound, one on cameras. And then I've got smaller clips that I can put out there as well, bite-sized tasters. These can then go out on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok is a maturing platform. Somebody encouraged me to go on TikTok a couple of months ago, and it absolutely is amazing for driving traffic to your website and engagement. So it's about putting those small bits of content out there. And all of these bits of content are driving traffic to your website. They're putting eyes on your business and what you do. So that's one of the most important things, is repurpose that content. Facebook. As we're live now on Facebook, people can watch this. But Facebook Lives tend to die off. As that timeline moves on, so do people. They move on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Facebook Live is a very short form content. YouTube is a lot longer. I've had a video on YouTube that has been getting little bits of traffic. I think the video itself is about 7 years old. And over the years, it's just got little bits of traffic. About 6 months ago, something changed and it's getting hundreds of views a day. Now that's been up there for a long time, but just something within people's interests has slightly changed. Timings have changed, something's changed, and that is now sending people to my website directly from that video link. So YouTube is great for long-term content. And here's the thing, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. YouTube is great for your SEO. If you put a good description in there with tags and linking them straight back to your website, it's driving traffic to your website, to your services, to your brand, day in, day out. So I would absolutely say, download your software and repurpose it as much as you can. Don't think just because people have watched this, they're not interested in seeing anything else. Quite the opposite. There's people that haven't seen this, but if they're then offered a 3-minute video clip on lighting, there's a chance they might invest that 3 minutes into that video clip. Once they've invested that 3 minutes, they may realize that they really connect with you. That rapport is built, and they'll invest more time in watching a longer video on your YouTube channel. Sometimes people, if they see a video is an hour long, they're going to look at that and go, I've not got time for this. Those short bits of information, those short form videos help people realize if they want to listen to you, if they want to watch you. And if they invest 3 minutes into it and then realize that's what they are interested in doing, then they'll invest more time in watching a longer video. And this is how you generate audiences. This is how you generate, eyes on your website. So yes, I'll ask you if there's any questions. If you're watching this on the replay, if you put hashtag replay and then your question, then I will get back to you as well on whichever platform you're on. On a slightly different note, asking about that, be very conscious of comment baiting on Facebook. It's a very popular thing that people do. Go and tag your 5 friends in the comment section below, and then you'll do this or you'll do this, and etc. By doing this, Facebook's algorithms very recently have changed with that. They're now aware if you're asking people for comments. And again, the whole, the different emojis. Use the love heart emoji if you think the red caravan, the blue emoji for some. So if you start using emojis for what they're not meant for, Facebook will stop showing your video to as many people, and it will kind of punish you for that. So if you are asking questions of your audience, make them genuine questions about what is being kind of the content that's being spoken about, and to get that engagement, rather than just comment, like, and share. By the fact I'm even saying this will affect the algorithms on Facebook. So I'm not going to keep going on.